The overall environmental impact is staggering.
Willows are a huge degrading influence on Australian rivers.
Well, planning's essential. Without planning, it'll just be a big mess of projects everywhere.
It's a tenacious thing. They're not an easy thing to kill.
It would pay and be a sensible move to get someone who's had the experience to fall the bigger trees, because they will bite you.
The idea is to try and get it back to pre-colonial times, and if we can do that, I think we're achieving something.
I think there's a lot of myths about willow management that need to be blown away, and I think just having the discussion will help take away some of the mystery behind why we do different things, and also why something works better than something else.
They may be a familiar and often well-loved fixture on the Australian landscape, but willows, or Salix, have now spread to the point where they're among the most serious riparian and wetland weeds in temperate Australia.
We've seen a lot of rivers within the state become very degraded due to willows, to the point where all other native vegetation has basically disappeared.
The overall environmental impact is staggering, and the idea is to try and get it back to pre-colonial times, and if we can do that, I think we're achieving something.
Well, planning's essential. Without planning, it'll just be a big mess of projects everywhere.
If the community's not behind your whole program, it's going to fall over.
No, there's not one best method to controlling willows. It's horses for courses.
We predominantly use a heavy machinery technique, and the main reason we do that is because in my area, probably 90% of my rivers are full of willows. So we've got a large problem with large trees, but we have got good access. We're fortunate enough to be reasonably well funded, so we use a heavy machinery technique.
Our favoured technique is to have an excavator, but they cost money. So what we've done is develop a large amount of techniques for no money.
I've seen a lot of close calls that are scary to watch. Mainly because people haven't had the experience, they're just not used to what willows will do.
You're also matching your techniques to your problem. You're not going to go in with a big 1,000-litre spray tank and you've got two plants growing on the banks. You know, can you get away with backpacks? Can you get away with just a hand pulling exercise?
The techniques that we've used have mainly been stem injection.
The overarching thing about stem injection is safety first, paramount, and hopefully through this film we'll be able to get that across. It takes a bit of work, and it takes a bit of work to do it safely and effectively.
Willow removal activities produce an enormous amount of material that needs to be managed. Responsible management of debris is critical to avoid regrowth from fallen branches and potential debris issues in flood events.
In my opinion, there is absolutely no point to removing willows without establishing revegetation and without limiting stock access to the stream.
We do like to get re-veg back around our willow control sites as quick as we can. We find that if you can get the stabilisation species back in around the bank, your bottle brush, your wattle species, it goes a long way to actually stopping a lot of people's fears, or particularly landholders, about what happens when the roots of the willows actually rot out. So we really factor that into our control programs too, to get some real stabilisation, re-veg back in around the banks, particularly around the stumps, once the control programs are done.
Monitoring, evaluating and reporting are also absolutely critical to the success of willow management programs.
We're seeing the bird life come back into the area. We're seeing a forest of trees growing where once there was just a desert of bare earth. So there's still a long way to go, but we're starting to see some changes.
It is a long-term commitment to making their rivers and their streams better.
I think sometimes the future of willow work is going to depend on the community's desire to make it happen, and also the government's commitment to invest in it. We've come a long way, and we're actually starting to get people coming on side. It's actually, we're at the key point of willow reduction works. If we don't continue to have that drive forward, everything we've done up till now was pointless. because the rivers are just going to reinfest and we'll all be back to where we started from.